Before you ignore that quarter, check one thing. Does it look perfectly normal, or is there something strange in the design? Because one small error can change a 25-cent coin into a collector's treasure. The 2008 Oklahoma State quarter does not look like the kind of coin that could make someone stop, stare, and reach for a magnifying glass. At first glance, it is just another quarter from the 50 state quarters program, the kind of coin millions of people use for parking meters, vending machines, grocery change, and gas station counters. But in coin collecting, ordinary appearance can be the greatest disguise. Sometimes the most valuable discoveries begin with the coins nobody bothers to check. The Oklahoma quarter was released in 2008 as the 46th coin in the 50 state quarters program. Its design honors Oklahoma's admission into the Union in 1907, and the reverse shows the scissor-tail flycatcher, the state bird, flying above Indian blanket flowers, the state wildflower. It is a calm, beautiful design, full of movement and identity. But behind that peaceful image was an industrial process moving at high speed, striking huge numbers of coins for circulation. By 2008, the United States was entering one of the most serious financial periods in modern history. The economy was under pressure, families were watching every dollar, and ordinary coins still played a daily role in small purchases. Quarters moved quickly through cash registers, pockets, coin rolls, banks, and household jars. Most people saw them only as spending money. Collectors saw something different, a chance that one of those coins might carry a minting mistake. A normal 2008 Oklahoma clad quarter has an official weight of 5.67 grams. This detail is extremely important because weight is one of the first clues collectors use to separate a normal coin from a possible error. A quarter that weighs close to 5.67 grams is usually a standard clad circulation strike. But if the weight is clearly different, the coin deserves closer inspection. A lighter coin may suggest a clipped planchet, incomplete planchet, or thin planchet error. A heavier or oddly colored coin could suggest an off-metal strike or a planchet mix-up. This is why serious collectors do not rely only on the eye. They weigh the coin. They check the edge. They compare thickness, color, diameter, strike quality, and design alignment. A tiny difference can become the first clue in a much bigger story. The minting process explains how these errors can happen. Before a quarter becomes a finished coin, metal strips are rolled to the correct thickness. Blank discs are punched out. These blanks are processed into planchets, then fed into powerful presses where the obverse and reverse dies strike the design with tremendous force. The system is designed for precision, but it also operates at massive scale. When millions of coins are produced, even a small mechanical failure can create an error. A planchet may not sit correctly inside the collar, causing an off-center strike. A blank may be punched incorrectly from the metal strip, creating a clipped or elliptical planchet. A die may crack after repeated use, leaving raised lines on the coin. A die may shift or become damaged, causing distorted details. And in rare cases, the wrong planchet may enter the press, creating an off-metal or foreign planchet error. This is where the 2005 California state quarter becomes an important reference. Many collectors became interested in state quarter errors because coins from this same program proved that modern quarters could still bring strong money when condition, rarity, and error type came together. The 2005 California quarter, with its John Muir and Yosemite design, has been discussed heavily among collectors because some high-grade or unusual examples have sold for strong prices, and some online reports have claimed extreme values, even reaching figures like $81,000 for rare error-type examples. Whether every large online claim is accepted by experts or not, the important lesson is clear. State quarters are not automatically worthless just because they are modern. When a confirmed error appears, collector attention can rise fast. That same lesson applies to the 2008 Oklahoma quarter. A normal circulated example may only be worth face value, but a verified error changes everything. One real documented example is a 2008 D Oklahoma statehood quarter struck on elliptical planchet, graded MS63 by NGC, weighing 4.8 grams instead of the standard 5.67 grams. It was sold by Heritage Auctions on September 10, 2019, for $12,666. That sale matters because it is not just a rumor or an asking price. It is a verified auction result for a real Oklahoma quarter error. At first, $12,666 may not sound like the massive numbers people hear in viral coin videos. But this is exactly what makes the story credible. Real collector value is built on proof. A coin that started as 25 cents sold for hundreds of times its face value because it had a real mint error, a professional grade, and documented auction history. That is how numismatic value works. Now imagine finding an Oklahoma quarter with a more dramatic error. A strong off-center strike with a full date visible, a major clip planchet, a wrong planchet strike, or a rare double die. The value could rise depending on how visible the error is, how rare it is, and how well preserved the coin remains. Collectors do not pay only for the mistake. They pay for eye appeal, authenticity, condition, and market confidence. Double dies are one area collectors often inspect closely. True double dies are created during the die-making process, when the design is impressed into the die with slight misalignment. This can produce visible doubling in letters, numbers, or design elements. But beginners must be careful, because machine doubling is much more common and usually less valuable. That is why expert confirmation matters. Off-center strikes are easier to notice. If the design is shifted away from the center and part of the coin is blank, it can be valuable, especially if the date and state design are still visible. Clipped or elliptical planchet errors are also important because they show that the coin was struck on an incomplete blank. These often weigh less than normal, which is why comparing the coin to the official 5.67 grams is so useful. Proof and silver-proof versions add another layer. Proof quarters were made for collectors with special finishes, and silver-proof quarters have a different composition from normal clad circulation coins. A proof coin is not automatically an error, but if a real error appears on a proof or silver-proof issue, it can become more interesting because proof coins are normally inspected more carefully. The biggest mistake beginners make is believing every high online price without checking sold records. Asking prices are not the same as realized prices. A seller can ask $81,000 for a California quarter, but collectors look for actual sold evidence, grading records, and auction results. That is the difference between hype and real value. The 2008 Oklahoma quarter teaches that lesson perfectly. It may look ordinary, but if the weight is wrong, the shape is unusual, the strike is off-center, or the design shows real doubling, it deserves attention. Valuable coins are still found in coin jars, inherited collections, bank rolls, and forgotten drawers because most people never check the details. So before spending that Oklahoma quarter, examine it. Look at the bird, the flowers, the date, the mint mark, and the edge. Weigh it and compare it to the official 5.67 grams. Search for missing metal, unusual shape, off-center design, doubling, die cracks, or strange color. Then research actual sold prices, not just listings. Because history is not always hidden in ancient silver or gold. Sometimes it is hiding in a modern quarter that almost everyone ignored. And sometimes, the smallest mistake from a mint becomes the biggest discovery in your pocket. The 2001 New York State quarter feels different from many other modern quarters, not because it shines brighter, but because its design carries a kind of quiet drama. In one small circle of metal, it shows the Statue of Liberty, the outline of New York State, the words Gateway to Freedom, and the date 1788, the year New York entered the Union. To most people, it is just another quarter. But to a collector, it is a tiny monument, a piece of American identity, and sometimes a hidden error coin waiting to be discovered. This coin was released in 2001 as part of the 50-state quarters program, one of the most successful coin programs ever created by the United States Mint. Millions of Americans collected these quarters from pocket change, coin rolls, banks, and family jars. Every state had its own moment, its own design, its own story. New York's design was especially meaningful because it represented immigration, freedom, and the idea of America as a doorway to new beginnings. But 2001 was also a year that changed New York forever. The quarter had already been released before the events of September 11th. Yet after that day, its imagery became even more emotional. The Statue of Liberty, standing strong on the coin, suddenly felt less like a simple design and more like a symbol of resilience. For many collectors, the 2001 New York quarter became more than pocket change. It became a small reminder of history, memory, and national strength. A normal 2001 New York clad quarter has an official weight of 5.67 grams. That number is extremely important. In coin collecting, weight is one of the fastest ways to separate an ordinary coin from a possible mint error. A standard clad quarter should weigh very close to 5.67 grams. If the coin is much lighter, much heavier, thinner, smaller, unusually colored, or strangely shaped, collectors immediately begin asking questions. And in numismatics, questions are where value begins. A lighter quarter could mean the coin was struck on an incomplete planchet, a clipped planchet, or even a planchet intended for another denomination. A quarter that looks smaller and weighs closer to a dime could suggest a rare dime planchet error. A coin with strange thickness or color could suggest an off-metal strike. That is why serious collectors use a precision scale. They do not rely only on appearance. They weigh the coin, study the edge, check the diameter, and compare every detail to the official standard. The minting process helps explain how these mistakes happen. Before a quarter becomes a finished coin, long strips of clad metal are rolled to the correct thickness. Circular blanks are punched out. Those blanks are processed into planchets, then fed into powerful coin presses. The obverse die strikes George Washington's portrait, while the reverse die strikes the New York design. The process is fast, forceful, and repeated millions of times. But even a modern minting system can fail for a split second. A planchet may not fully eject from the press. Another strike may hit it again. A blank may be fed incorrectly. A coin may land off center between the dies. A wrong planchet may enter the chamber. A die may crack, clash, or weaken after heavy use. These small failures are usually caught during inspection, but occasionally one escapes into circulation. And when that happens, a normal 25-cent coin becomes something collectors remember. The 2001 New York quarter has several error types that collectors watch for. Double-struck examples are especially exciting because they show that the coin was hit more than once by the dies. The second strike may appear shifted, distorted, or off-center. This creates a dramatic look, almost like the coin is showing two moments of production at the same time. One verified example, a 2001 New York State quarter that was quadruple struck, with the second, third, and fourth strikes about 20% off-center, sold through Heritage Auctions on May 3, 2003, for $603.75. That coin was graded MS63 by PCGS. Collectors paid for it because it was not just damaged or scratched. It was a confirmed mint error, a coin that was struck 4 times before escaping the process. Another documented example was a 2001 New York quarter that was double struck, with the second strike 40% off-center, graded MS65 by PCGS. It sold through Heritage Auctions on June 8, 2014, for $499.38. That sale is important because it shows how visible error, professional grading, and condition work together. A quarter that began with a face value of only 25 cents became worth hundreds of dollars because it carried a mistake that could be verified. There are also rare wrong planchet possibilities. One of the most fascinating examples described by auction records involved the 2001 New York quarter struck on a dime planchet as a uniface obverse error. In that kind of error, the wrong blank enters the press, and the result can look smaller, lighter, and incomplete compared with a normal quarter. These coins are especially interesting because weight becomes the first major clue. A normal quarter should be 5.67 grams, while a dime planchet is much lighter. That difference can instantly tell a collector that something is not ordinary. This is also why the famous 2005 California State quarter is such a useful comparison. That coin, with its John Muir and Yosemite design, became heavily discussed among collectors because rare state quarter errors prove that modern coins can still command serious attention. Some online claims mention values as high as $81,000 for unusual California quarter errors, but serious collectors always separate hype from proof. The real lesson is not that every state quarter is worth huge money. The lesson is that a confirmed mint error, especially one with strong visual appeal and professional authentication, can make a modern quarter far more valuable than people expect. For the 2001-year quarter, value depends on four major things: the type of error, the condition, the grade, and the sales history. A small die chip may only bring a modest premium. A dramatic double strike, off-center strike, clipped planchet, wrong planchet strike, or major minting mistake can bring much more. If the coin is uncirculated, sharply struck, and professionally certified, collectors take it more seriously. But beginners must be careful. Not every strange-looking coin is valuable. Scratches, stains, heat damage, corrosion, and post-mint damage can look dramatic but usually do not create collector value. Real mint errors happen during production, before the coin leaves the mint. That difference matters. The most exciting part is that these coins can still be found in ordinary places. Some are hiding in old jars. Some are inside coin rolls. Some sit forgotten in drawers, inherited collections, or boxes of change saved years ago. Many valuable discoveries happen because one person slows down and asks, "Does this coin look normal?" So when you find a 2001-year quarter, look closely. Study the Statue of Liberty, the state outline, the date 1788, and the mint mark. Check for doubling, off-center design, extra strikes, missing metal, unusual shape, or strange color. Then weigh it and compare it to the official 5.67 grams. Because sometimes a coin does not need to be ancient to be valuable. Sometimes history hides in modern change. And sometimes the quarter everyone else spends without thinking becomes the one coin worth keeping. The 2015 Kisatchie National Forest quarter is not the kind of coin most people expect to be exciting. It does not carry the age of an early copper cent, the mystery of an old silver dollar, or the fame of a legendary wartime error. It is modern. It is common. It is easy to overlook. And that is exactly what makes its story so interesting. Because sometimes the most dangerous coins to ignore are the ones that look completely normal. This quarter was released in 2015 as part of the The Beautiful Quarters program, a series created to honor national parks, forests, monuments, and historic sites across the United States. Kisatchie National Forest represents Louisiana, and its design feels almost alive. On the reverse, a wild turkey appears in flight above bluestem grass, with longleaf pine trees rising in the background. It is a scene of movement, nature, and wilderness, captured inside a small 25-cent coin. But behind that peaceful image is a much bigger story. A normal 2015 Kisatchie clad quarter has an official weight of 5.670 grams. This number is extremely important. Many beginners look only at the front and back of a coin, but serious collectors know that weight can reveal secrets the eye cannot immediately see. A standard clad quarter should be very close to 5.670 grams. If your coin is clearly lighter, heavier, thinner, smaller, or strangely colored, that difference may be a warning sign. And in numismatics, warning signs can become value. A lighter quarter may suggest a missing clad layer, a clipped planchet, an incomplete planchet, or a coin struck on a wrong blank. A strange color may point to a missing outer layer or unusual metal exposure. A coin that feels too thin or too small could have been struck on a planchet intended for another denomination. That is why weighing the coin is not just a technical step. It is one of the first real tests. Now imagine the minting process. Long strips of clad metal are prepared, blanks are punched out, and those blanks are turned into planchets. Then, at high speed, the coin presses strike Washington's portrait on one side and the Kisatchie design on the other. The pressure is enormous, the rhythm is constant, and the production numbers are massive. Everything is supposed to happen perfectly. But perfection does not always survive speed. A planchet can be incomplete before it reaches the press. A clad layer can separate. A die can crack after striking thousands of coins. A coin can be struck through grease or debris, leaving weak or missing details. A planchet can sit slightly out of place, causing an off-center strike. And sometimes, the most valuable mistakes happen before anyone realizes something has gone wrong. For the 2015 Kissachi quarter, one of the most important confirmed error types is the missing clad layer error. In a normal clad quarter, the coin has outer layers of copper nickel bonded to a copper core. When part of that outer layer is missing, the coin may show an unusual copper color, often on one side. This is not the same as dirt, staining, or environmental damage. A true missing clad layer is a mint-made error, and it affects both appearance and weight. One real documented example proves how serious collectors take this error. A 2015 Kissachi National Park quarter with the obverse clad layer missing, graded MS64 by NGC, weighed 4.7 grams and sold through Heritage Auctions on October 6, 2021 for $1,380. That is a powerful result for a coin that originally had a face value of only 25 cents. Collectors were willing to pay that amount because the coin had three major things working together: a confirmed mint error, professional certification, and a clear weight difference from a normal 5.670 grams. That sale is important because it shows the difference between online hype and real market proof. Anyone can list a coin for thousands of dollars, but a sold auction record tells a stronger story. It shows what collectors actually paid. Another interesting area for the 2015 Kissachi quarter involves strike-through errors. These happen when grease, cloth, metal fragments, or other debris gets between the die and the planchet during striking. When the coin is struck, the obstruction blocks part of the design, leaving a weak, missing, or unusual impression. Some strike-through errors are minor and may only sell for a few dollars, but dramatic examples with strong visual appeal can attract more attention. Die chips and die cracks are also commonly searched on this coin. Because the reverse design includes detailed areas like the turkey, grass, and trees, small raised lumps or lines can stand out. Some collectors look closely around the turkey's tail, claws, wings, and nearby lettering. A die chip may look like extra metal sitting on the design. A die crack may appear as a raised line running through part of the coin. These errors are usually not as valuable as major planchet errors, but they can still make a coin collectible. Off-center strikes are another exciting possibility. If a Kissachi quarter was not properly centered during striking, part of the design may be missing while a blank area appears on the coin. The value depends on how dramatic the shift is and whether the date, mint mark, and main design remain visible. A strong off-center strike with clear details can be far more desirable than a minor misalignment. Wrong planchet errors are even rarer. If a quarter design is struck on a dime planchet, foreign planchet, or another incorrect blank, the coin may have the wrong size, wrong weight, or unusual appearance. These are the kinds of errors collectors take very seriously because they should not escape the mint. But authentication is critical. Without expert grading, many damaged or altered coins can be mistaken for mint errors. The 2015 Kissachi quarter also exists in different finishes, including circulation strikes, uncirculated examples, and proof versions. Proof coins were made for collectors with sharper details and mirror-like fields. Silver versions were also produced for collector sets. But a proof coin is not automatically valuable just because it looks different. The value rises when rarity, condition, and a real mint error come together. This is where condition becomes important. A damaged coin with a strange color may not be worth much, but an uncirculated coin with a verified missing clad layer, strong strike through, wrong planchet, or dramatic off-center strike can become a serious collectible. Grading services examine the coin, confirm whether the error happened at the mint, and assign a grade. That grade gives buyers confidence. The biggest lesson is simple. Do not judge the coin too quickly. A normal 2015 Kissachi quarter may only be worth 25 cents, but a verified error can sell for hundreds or even over $1,000. as the Heritage Auction's missing clad layer example shows. And these coins can still be hiding anywhere. In old jars, in coin rolls, in drawers, in collections someone forgot about, in change that has been sitting untouched for years. Most people never weigh their quarters, never check the edge, never notice the color, and never study the details. So if you find a 2015 Kisatchie quarter, slow down. Look at the wild turkey, the grass, the pine trees, the lettering, and the edge. Check for copper-colored surfaces, missing details, raised eye cracks, odd shapes, off-center design, or unusual thickness. Then weigh it carefully and compare it to the official 5.670 grams. Because sometimes value does not announce itself loudly. Sometimes it hides inside a modern quarter, dressed like ordinary change, waiting for one person to notice what everyone else missed.